This episode of WDW Today is being sponsored by MEI and MouseFan Travel. And with 2011 now coming up real soon, it's time to plan that perfect trip for 2011. And the travel agents at MEI and MouseFan Travel can help you plan any trip you're looking for. Maybe it's that trip to Walt Disney World. Maybe you're saying, hey, Disney Dream is coming online, Disney Cruise Line. Maybe it's that time. Check that out. They can help you with that. Or perhaps Disneyland is in your future. Regardless of what Disney destination you're going to, the good travel agents at MEI and MouseFan Travel can help you plan that perfect trip no matter what. Check them out online at www.mousefantravel.com.
Bringing the world to your world, this is Walt Disney World Today. Here are Mike Scopa, Len Testa, Mike Newell, and your host, Matt Hochberg.
It's Wednesday, December 22nd, 2010, and this is episode 815 of WDW Today. I'm Matt Hochberg of StudioCentral.com. Joining me on today's show is Len Testa, co-author of the NFL Guide to Walt Disney World. And Len, will your Steelers Santa hat be making an appearance this year?
In fact, it already has. If you look on Facebook, it was when I was decorating the tree, I was wearing it.
Do you just wear it the entire Christmas season, no matter what?
Really, like Walt Disney World, I start in September when football season begins. It's Christmas as far as I'm concerned.
Nice. Also joining us on today's show is Mike Scopa, a senior feature writer and blogger for allears.net. Welcome, Mike.
Well, we'd begun to believe
American Adventure.
that the height of civilization was an automobile, a radio, and a bathtub.
5 words, dude. I got it 5 words. It was your Will Rogers impression.
No French accents, huh?
No French accents, exactly.
Also joining us on today's show is Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. Mike, I got to tell you, I'm loving the Christmas music on Mouse World Radio. It really sets the mood.
Oh, thank you. That'll be ending next week at some point, so get it while you can listen to it.
Let me ask you this. What's that? I keep on hearing this track. It's really long one. It's got like Ed McMahon narrating it.
That's Merry Christmas from Walt Disney World. I have 5 years of that. That's running in rotation. That aired on ABC radio networks back in the day, and that was one of them. I think that was from 1995.
Well, there's one in there from like 2006.
Yeah,
there's like Housewives, Terry Hatcher.
Yeah, there's 2006, 95, I think 99 right at the millennium, the end of the millennium, and another year, I think 94 or something like that with James Earl Jones narrating.
Pretty cool.
Thank you.
Well, it's Wednesday. We're answering your listener questions. Let's start out with a question from Brett, New Hampshire. Cousin Mickey doesn't talk about on the boards. The Cousin Mickey doesn't talk about .blogspot.com.
Oh, you get to be right.
The state of New Hampshire has unofficially banned me from Walt Disney World. What happens to New Hampshire when I go to Disney is what happens to Disney when Scopa visits. In December 2008, I went to Disney World. A couple of days later, the most devastating ice storm in New Hampshire history hit. Some people didn't get the power back on for almost 2 weeks. In February 2010, as I was flying out of Logan International Airport, one of the most powerful nor'easters was starting to hit the Northeast. More than half of the state lost power. My home lost power for nearly 5 days. God help us all if Scopa and I are ever in the same place at the same time.
Cats and dogs living together.
Just saying.
It's all relative.
What movie is that from?
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters. That's great. Next email is from Dave from St. Clair Shores, Michigan. Hi, Matt.
Yes, because St. Clair isn't quite close enough to the shore that they actually had enough room to build another town.
St. Clair Shores. We're not like those St. Clair people.
Exactly.
We've got the ocean, or it's not even an ocean. We've got the lake.
Waterfront property. Yeah.
Hi, Matt, Mike, Len, or Fred, and the woman that makes the Bond women envious, the fabulous Annette, if she's there. She's not, but I'm sure she would appreciate that compliment.
I might use that line.
I've been a fan of the world since my first trip as a youth in 1973. I have been fortunate in that I've logged over 30 trips over the years. I found your podcast a few months ago, and I think that's fantastic. I listen to it regularly, and I'm now playing catch up with all the past shows. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
On my last visit of February 2010, I used the Walt Disney World Lines app. No ding.
Ding.
Sorry.
On my iPhone, and I thought it was a great site. I was there during President's Week and found that the estimated wait times were off considerably after lunch at each of the parks I was in. That being said, I found the postings from other users to be exceptionally accurate and helpful. I was able to change plans easily as I reviewed their postings and put my own on the site. Now on to my question. I'm a confessed techno geek, and that means that I live with my iPhone, laptop, etc. I think the unofficial guide is a great guide to the park, but it is not something I'm going to carry around while I'm there. I do not carry paper anything with me usually. That's why electronics were made. So when is the unofficial guide going to come out with an electronic format that I can carry on my iPhone or other mobile device? I'd be happy to pay for a subscription to be able to have the unofficial guide readily available in an electronic format. It would be great to be able to reference some of the Line's website or have it downloaded in some form.
So it is available in ebook format. If you Google unofficial guide 2011 ebook, it's available for download as an Adobe e-reader format.
So what devices is that compatible with, Len?
Anything that can run Adobe e-reader. So anything that runs Adobe the Adobe Reader software, PCs, Macs.
Does that work with? I have no idea. Do you know if it works with like a Kindle or an iPad or iPhone?
It doesn't work with a Kindle. It works with iPad and it works with iPhone as well.
Oh, okay, good to know. It sounds like a question for Henry Work.
I'll check.
Henry,
I'll check.
He's done it again.
go over there and get that neighbor Oz. What for?
What for?
Newell was saying that, Len, the entire time at reunion to Henry.
Yes, and he was getting a little annoyed with me. I could
It
tell.
never got old.
Not for you guys, right?
Not for us. Yeah, it did for him. Love you, Henry.
Next email's from Emma from Surrey, England. And Len, were you ever in Surrey on your little trip there recently?
Sorry, I don't think so.
Yeah. I have recently booked my first Disney cruise vacation as part of my honeymoon in June 2011, and I use Mouse Fan Travel. Excellent service so far. I've always wanted to go on Disney Cruise Line, so I can't wait for our 5-night cruise on the Dream, followed by 7 nights in the Grand Floridian. A quick question about the cruise that I'm sure you guys can answer. Is it possible to get a table for just 2 in the restaurants on the Disney cruise ships? I get the impression from the frequently asked questions section on the Cruise Line website that we'll be seated with other people. While this wouldn't normally be a problem, it'd be our honeymoon, so I'd like to spend some time with my new husband at dinner. Well, Emma, I think you can.
I was in Surrey. Sorry, Thorpe and Chessington are in Surrey.
Oh, there you go. I was going to say that on my honeymoon, we went on Royal Caribbean Cruise Line, not Disney, obviously. But we were the same situation, and we made a request ahead of time. And what I would do, Emma, is contact, since you booked with Mouse Fan Travel, just give your agent a call or email and, let them know that's what you want. I believe the way it works is you can ask for it. They can't promise you because obviously there's not an unlimited amount of 2 tables for 2 out there. But I think if you put your name out there and ask, in June 2011, still got some time, that you can hopefully work that out. The last case scenario is you can try on the day you board the ship. You can go, as soon as you board, you go down to the restaurant or whatever the restaurant is of your first, you change restaurants every night. So whatever restaurant you're going to that first night, and ask to speak to the head waiter over there, and you can ask to see if they can accommodate you as well. So that might be a good option for you. So between the 2 options, that's probably an idea. I don't know, Newell, do you know anything about that?
I was going to say, couldn't they get a table for 2 up at Palo?
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure she's referring to the main dining room.
If I'm on my honeymoon, I would go Palo.
The entire time?
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
I don't know, a little variety.
Yeah, it's going to cost you a little extra. I forget what it is, but it's not just for gratuity, but it's going to cost you, more than, regular dining will give you. But to me, it's worth it.
Okay. No, I think you should definitely go check that out. Paula's great. She writes, P.S. I attended some of the reunion meets in December at Walt Disney World with my sister, and we had a lot of fun. But I was about to introduce myself to Matt when another attendee said, "Oh no, don't let him hear your British accent." I wasn't sure what he meant, but by that time, it was time to ride Tower of Terror and Rock on Roller Coaster with Becky and Annette, so I didn't say hi. Maybe next time. Sorry, Matt.
Oh, it's because you're still fighting the War of 1812, right, Matt?
That's right. It's still, they burn Washington, darn it.
Exactly.
Next email is from Kelly from Concord, California. Hello, gentlemen. I'm a relatively new listener to your podcast and have been working hard trying to catch up on the archives. As of yet, I'm only up to episode 442, which leads me to my first question. I know you have all of the shows on WWTA website, but only episode 407 and after are available to download via iTunes. As I would prefer to bring the episodes with me rather than sit on the computer all day, is there a way to access those? Right now, the only way you can do that is you have to download the episodes, either listen on the website or download them and then import them into your iTunes library. We don't have a separate feed for that, and because it's a lot of work to add those in there. So unfortunately, we don't at this time. Sorry, Kelly. My second question, being a California native, I was wondering if any of you have ever heard of a quality Disneyland podcast. I've never actually been to Disney World and mostly listen to you due to my Disney addiction, plus the comical way you all play off each other. but I'm a Disneyland veteran. Any help would be great. I have only about 250 episodes until I catch up, so hopefully you'll respond before I'm all caught up. But knowing you all, who knows? Len, you've been on a couple of different web podcasts. Do you remember any that deal with Disneyland?
Disneyland podcast. You can try. So Betamouse covers World and Land.
Okay, cool. Next email is from... Who's it from? Oh, it's from Mark Brennan of Lancaster, New York. Hoping that you get my question before our trip in 2012. Just kidding. Our trip is this year. Just wanted to give you enough time to answer it. My wife and I are coming down in late April to experience flower and garden for the first time. We've made 9 trips to the world and have been Disney Vacation Club members since 2005. We're wondering about the free concerts that are held on the weekends. How long before each show should we line up for them? We've been to Candlelight a couple of times. Do we need to line up the same way in same places? Is one show better than another? Any tricks?
Usually, 20 minutes before any show is going to get you into anything.
Yeah, it all matters. Like, if you want to be like dead center, first row, you probably want to get a little earlier. But
yeah, so in that case, 25 minutes before everything gets you in. But 20 minutes is going to get you into any show early. I can't think of anything that's. Candlelight processional during the holidays, maybe, but I can't think of anything else that isn't going to do it.
Okay, so you think it won't be long haul?
Again, I think it's going to depend upon the performer, and also probably going to depend upon day of the week. I'm thinking I agree with Len. The only exception would be Friday and Saturday nights, probably maybe Sunday nights, and depending upon who the performer is. But Monday through Thursday shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, no.
Next email is from Ellie, who writes, I am planning on doing the Half Princess Marathon in 2011. So, Matt, you have plenty of time to get this email. I've been running for a little over a year, maybe 2 by the time this is read. So my question is, do either of you guys think that walking the 5K is a big deal before running the half the next day? I know all about the resting part before a big race, but do you think it's doable? I am Tink127 on the boards, previously from Poughkeepsie, and now live in Annette's neck of the woods, Cary. Love the podcast.
That's a good question. It depends upon the individual. Most trainers would say stay off your feet before a race involving more than a 15K distance. It's going to depend upon how she can respond. I guess the thing that she should ask herself is, on her longest training run, what did she do the day before, and did that affect her? That's the only way. You can tell. I don't know if I would risk doing something that you've never done before, especially if you've never run a half marathon. When you get into a race situation, when you get into a 5K, a 3K, a 5K, whatever it is, you're going to have to keep that pace. And 16 minutes per mile sounds like it's really slow. I can't walk that fast. I have to run. So she has to think about what that 16 minutes per mile is going to do to her legs, and just try it before you that day. Len, what do you think?
I think that's about right. You're gonna. 16-minute miles aren't particularly fast, but
can you walk that fast? I can't.
Yeah, that'd be the upper limit of what I could. On a sustained basis, I come close. That's what it's just under 4 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty healthy walk.
All right. Next email is from Melissa from Bedford, Ohio. Go Browns. Len, people from Ohio who like Pittsburgh teams make me crazy, but I still love you.
No, thank you.
I've been listening for a while, mostly to old episodes. My husband and I went to Disney for our honeymoon in March 2008, and since then, we've been dying to go back. But we have been inundated with pregnancies and children. Yes, we do know how to prevent this.
Huh.
That's interesting. We would love to plan to go this coming winter of 2010. Scopa, close your ears, but we really want to make our young kids with great... We want to take our young kids with great plans as to not bother other guests with poor behavior. So, we were thinking of going sometime in November or December. She must be in 2011, of course. My oldest daughter will be turning 3 in December, early December. I heard that if we go, and she is still 2 when we check in, she's still considered an infant and free. But even if she turns 3 the next day, she will be free the whole time. Is this true? Sure. They're not. Kids, 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds don't have birth certificates anyway.
Yeah, they're not gonna.
Yeah.
So how old?
2 on the day they check in, but at some point during the trip they'll turn 3.
Oh yeah, no. I think we've answered this question before. So it's whatever you are on the day of your trip, the day your trip begins.
Okay, very good.
I had a birth certificate when I was born.
Yeah. You didn't or did?
I did.
Really?
Yeah. Left the hospital with it.
Question for Melissa writes, I think we can do the dining plan if we have enough adults. Thoughts? They are pretty good at going out to eat and always cut dinners short if necessary, bringing back to the hotel. What would be good for toddlers to look around and has crayons or something like that? No 2 table service credits. Good for toddlers, restaurants, and it can't be a 2 table service credit meal. Oh, in Wilderness Lodge.
Yep, that's exactly what I was going.
Whispering Canyon?
Whispering
Yep.
Canyon.
Yep.
You'll love it. And if the kids are allowed, it's okay because that place is really allowed to begin with. Almost every restaurant now they'll give you the little kids menu that's also a drawing thing and give you crayons. So that's almost inevitable. You don't have to worry about, not having a place to draw. But certain restaurants I think do lend them. So that's one restaurant. Any other restaurants you guys can think that'd be good for toddlers? For breakfast or lunch,
Prime time? No.
prime time is a good one. I like that one, Mike.
The thing with toddlers is they can't sit for long periods of time, right?
Yeah. I was going to say Hollywood and Vine. They have the Playhouse Disney characters over there, so I would assume being toddlers, they might like those characters. And it's a great meal for them because there's a lot of singing and dancing going on.
Just bring your banker.
No, that's good. So I think, what about Ohana?
Yeah, for the breakfast.
Next email is from Mark R. from Sydney, Australia. In episode 697, Resort Recommendations, you hardly mentioned the Contemporary Resort, and come to think of it, I think you've hardly ever mentioned staying there. It's always been such a Walt Disney World icon for me, ever since seeing Walt unveil plans for Walt Disney World and first visiting it in 1976. Is there any redeeming feature about staying at the Contemporary? What's it like actually staying in the tower, not the Garden Wings or Bay Lake Tower? And being part of the icon that is the Grand Canyon Concourse so central to the rest of the world.
We've talked about it a couple of times. The location's great for the Magic Kingdom, right? Mm-hmm. I don't think any of us particularly love any of the dining things, and it doesn't really have a theme per se. So you can't really say that the rooms are nice, but you can't really say that it's got a style all of its own, unless Spartan and modern counts as a style for you. And I don't think the pool is particularly good.
Yeah, the Contemporary Tower pool, because there's a new pool for Bay Lake Tower, which looks okay.
Yeah, that looks good actually. We have photos of it on the site from above. It looks good, but I don't know. It doesn't. I mean, other than the location and the really nice rooms, it really doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah, the one thing that always bothered me was the fact that in order to stay there, obviously the base price, you're staying in a garden view.
Yeah.
Which always bugged me. So you got to pay extra just to get to the tower. And so that's kind of a hitch right there. Even if you're staying at the Poly or Grand Floridian, at least the worst, the basic standard view room, you're staying in the same type of building as the other buildings in the resort. So that was always a thing for me. I don't know. Scopo, what are your thoughts on the Contemporary?
I've stayed there twice. I think that it's the proximity to the Magic Kingdom is obviously nice. You can walk back and forth. Of the monorail resorts, I would say it's probably third on my list. I mean, Polynesian would get my vote. The Contemporary, I think, is one of those hotels where it's just kind of noisy. It's just it's the way it's almost dated, you might say. I think that
you mean the lobby or
yeah, just the way everything is. I mean, I think that there's no draw for me. I mean, I've stayed there twice. It was okay. But if I had my druthers, I'd stay at the Polynesian.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. We Team Studio Central, as I will mention again, we won the Mouse Fan Team Challenge reunion. And and when we won,
the race is over. Take off the uniform.
Anyway, I was gonna say that we got to pick a free stay at a deluxe resort. We had to pick 3 resorts to choose from, and the Contemporary was not on any of our top 3s in terms of resorts that we could choose from to stay there. And I think you guys, kind of outlined some of the reasons. So it's interesting how it's like it's up there. I mean, it's a good resort, but I mean, it just doesn't make my top 3 to 5 list really.
Yeah, I like it better than I like the Grand Floridian, which I think is overpriced. But
well, it's funny you mentioned that, Len, because our next email is from Gary from Staten Island, New York. Writes, love your podcast. On the podcast episode where you talked about choosing resorts, I was surprised that the Grand Floridian was never mentioned. My wife and I spent our honeymoon there in 1989. It was excellent and very romantic. Was there a reason for the omit? Thanks again. Keep up the great work.
I don't think the rooms are anything special, and I think it is really, really, really overpriced. I think for the money, the contemporary rooms are better, and more stylish. Talk about noisy. The lobby of the Grand Floridian is essentially chaos all the time.
And the parking situation really bugs me over there. You have to park across the street.
Park across the street and walk back, right? And or you can valet like I do, but all the time. And the only reason I really valet is because I like watching teenagers run fast for money. I think that's that's so yeah. That reminds me, my Christmas bonus for my newspaper boy is due. I'm gonna have to tie it on a string and make him run around the yard and chase it. Oh wait, that's my dog with a biscuit. Never mind. No wait, it works the same way. Never mind. Yeah, go ahead.
And that's a glimpse into Len's brain, brought to you by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. Next email is from Melissa from Cleveland. I was sitting here doing a bit of research for my December trip to the world. My 2010 unofficial guide was sitting next to me, and my 2-year-old started looking through it. Usually with adult books, she just looks for the uppercase letters. She can point them out to me and tell me what they are. There was a small section at the beginning of the book with pictures that thoroughly intrigued her. She looked at every single picture asking, "What's that?" The only one she knew was the castle because she points to it. She points it out to me at the beginning of every Disney movie we watch. She also found the tiniest depiction of Mickey on a cup and shouted his name and jumped around, so excited to find Mickey. So this makes me wonder. I'm going to order the planning DVD, but are there any other books, DVDs, magazines, even websites that may give her a chance to look at what we might see so she might be a little prepared, even familiar with some things? Any suggestions are welcome.
So the planning DVD is a really good choice because it'll go through the resorts and stuff. YouTube videos are really good for looking at the individual attractions. And if I may plug my own book, the Color Companion has like 560 photos of Walt Disney World, and they're all pretty decent.
One that I wanted to mention was it was a book that we had on with the author on the show. It's Kim Button's book, The Disney Queue Line Survival Guidebook. And I always thought that was a good book for kids. It's more probably for the adult to help the kid more than anything. It's not so much about pictures, but that's a decent option for you right there. Can you guys think of anything else?
There is a book that will be published soon. It's called The Walt Disney World Adventure, a field guide and activity book for explorers. It was put together by Tracy Cook, but it will not be available until, very soon.
Yeah, we had Tracy on the show as well. So
yeah. But I believe this is a new book. So
cool. And also one more I wanted to throw out there was a Guide to the Magic by Tim Foster. It's a book it's a guidebook for kids. It's really colorful and lots of pictures. That might be another good option. It's guidetothemagic.com. So check the show notes there. Philip will put all the links, hopefully, for you right there. So
cool.
Good luck, Melissa. Next email is from William Scurry, Jr., who writes, I only went to the world for the first time in 2005, and I'm an habitual annual recidivist?
Yeah, repeat visitor.
Okay.
Like usually it's used for the term is used for criminals going back to jail.
Interesting connotation.
Awesome.
I'm fascinated with Disney parks, and while there's an amazing amount of information on what used to be around and how it got there and what's there today, I've yet to find a comprehensive photographic record of what Walt Disney World looked like along the way through the 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. I would love to see Old Tomorrowland pre-upgrade as well as Frontierland pre-splash. Any ideas?
Ooh. What about the Widen Your World website?
Yeah, Widen Your World's a great website. I was just on there yesterday, as a matter of fact.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
That's a good
so
option.
it's a website that's devoted to long gone attractions of Walt Disney World. I think they've got some stuff.
I was checking out.
They've got really neat things about all the different lands. Like Adventureland back when the Kiko Man stuff was in. Try that out. It's widenyourworld.net.
Another good one. Another good blog is our good friend Sean Slater. His blog DisneySean.blogspot.com, and he has a lot of great pictures from. Mostly his older pictures are from the 80s and early 90s, but even so, it gives you a good glimpse. He took a lot of pictures back then, like the way that we take pictures now, in terms of just taking pictures of like what Disney World looked like, as opposed to like having your family stuck in the middle of the photo. And he has a lot of good retro look backs and features a lot of those great photos. That's definitely a good option. Jim Hill's website, also looks into the history of Disney World. That's JimHillMedia.com. So some good options over there. I think between those, you should be able to start clicking on links and going through places, and you'll find some good ones. And certainly, if anyone has any good suggestions, just go to www.com and post in the show notes. Well, time for our last question of the day, and that means I'll give Mr. Newell 3 questions to choose from. One gets read today. The other 2 go back into the email queue to be answered later. You ready, Mike?
Today. Yes, go ahead.
Your options are, I swear he just said crystal meth. Please, Mr. Newell, sir, you lovely man, I'm dying to know.
What?
Option 2, Figment must go. Option 3, how to make a kid cry.
Wow. Somebody help me out here.
What was the first one again?
Crystal meth? Do I want to go
I
there?
swear he just said crystal meth. Please, Mr. Newell, sir, you lovely man, I'm dying to know.
I like that one.
Yeah? All right.
Last email of the day is from Katie from the United Kingdom. This may sound strange, but something has been bothering me. At the end of the show, after Stupid Judy, Stupid Energy, a man shouts something. I've somehow convinced myself he is saying crystal meth. But I'm not sure why anyone would scream that at Ellen. So can anyone put me out of my misery? Big love for the show.
She's never been on crystal meth because
I
she
don't-
shout out random things to everybody.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
It's what is it?
Is she referring to that's the end of our show?
Yeah, that's the end of our show. Yeah.
No.
Is that what she's referring to, Mike?
Hold on, let me
that's
play-
still in the show, right?
Let me play the clip. Let's see if we can hear it. I think what she's referring to is Alex Trebek continuing on the question.
Oh, well you have
Alex
it ready?
Trebek asked a question about crystal meth.
No,
Jeopardy?
silly.
I missed that episode. I thought the Etruscans were a crazy category, but it's okay.
Let's see if what she hears is what we can hear too.
Stupid Judy, stupid energy.
It does sound like crystal meth.
Does it? I gotta hear it
Say,
again.
play it again. I heard it. Go ahead.
Stupid Judy, stupid energy.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it does.
that's definitely Alex Trebek.
Yeah.
I think he's just continuing on with the next question. It sounds like he said amendment. I gotta hear it.
Stupid Judy, stupid energy.
Yeah, when she says when I read the email and I was hearing for it, I could hear it. Well, don't forget this episode of WDW Today has been sponsored by officially MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. And regardless of what trip you're looking to plan, you know, you want to stay at the Contemporary, Grand Floridian, Polynesian, Pop Century, doesn't matter where you want to stay. The travel agents at MEI and Mouse Fan Travel can help you plan that trip for you. Give them a ring. Just go to www.mousefantravel.com. If you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, you can visit us online at wdwtoday.com. For Lentista, Mike Scopa, and Mike Newell, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.
Stupid Judy, stupid energy.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.